Well, hey, happy Thursday. Better late than never, right? This is Tune and we finally got our technical issues resolved. So I cut off that recording I was sharing with you because I think that it's more important to have you hear Michael's words of wisdom on this topic of life's discernment. So, goodness sake, I've got to hang up my phone, Michael. Okay, so here we are. Dr. Michael Gross is the author of the Spiritual Primer, and I already put in the introduction earlier into social media on Facebook and YouTube. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce Michael as the most amazing gentleman that I know. He woke up my soul about 4.5 years ago, and my life has changed so. We apologize for all the confusions, for the technical issues, but we are finally here. So go ahead, Michael, take it away with the topic Life's Discernment 101.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your patience. Sorry for the technical things that are occurring, but that's the life of technology. So thank you. And I thought I'd speak to all of you about discernment. And discernment gives you the opportunity to look at what's going around you. And currently in the United States, we're having elections, and I know there's a lot of political things going on all over the world. And I began to observe for myself as I was watching it. I found out that as watching it, I was getting enmeshed in some of the politics and some of the decisions, discerning what's right, what's wrong, what I feel comfortable with, what I feel don't feel comfortable with. And we are being asked as a group of souls on this whole entire planet and everything that exists is to use the gift of discernment. Well, what is the gift of discernment? The discernment means understanding what people are saying, fact from fictions. You know, we have fact checkers, at least some of the computers, you can check this out or that out. However, what I found with some of the fact checkers were also politicized and prejudiced in one way or another. And then we have AI, artificial intelligence, and it's growing. You don't know whether I'm really talking or it's AI or somebody else is. And the greatest concern is that there'll be a famous political leader or some great leader, spiritual leader, and you'll be watching him and he'll be saying all these things. And when you hear him saying all these things or her saying all these things, they may be erroneous. And it's just AI imitating. So, what do we need to do to cope with that? Well, the first thing we need to understand is what really rings true with you, what really feels comfortable. Get out of the ego. So important to get out of the ego. Because the ego, edging God out, serves a purpose when you were younger to say you can do that. And in some instances, it can serve the purpose that you should do something or shouldn't do something. But on the other hand, it's self satisfying. It only wants to please itself, even, even at the cause of creating chaos or destroying your life or creating bad things in your life. This is something we need to really understand about discernment. And discernment gives you the idea of looking through things to say, this is really the truth. Does this really resonate with me? Now, when we talk about passions of political parties or religions, or even buying a car or going out to dinner or whatever, you're passionate about it one way or another. So actually, you may enjoy a meal at a restaurant, which I think is fabulous. Someone else will, it's okay. And I usually get together for a holiday party, and we went to this beautiful restaurant. Food was phenomenal. Everybody loved it except one. They always found something wrong or wasn't right or whatever. You know, so that's the way life is. And so I said I was sorry, but that person that criticized so much, I didn't want to embarrass them. So I just said, well, next Christmas, you're going to decide where we're going to eat. And so they can understand perhaps if someone criticizes that meal, what it feels like. But more importantly, we can't please all the people all the time. The only one you can make happy is you. And you have to look at why you're angry, why you're upset, or why you're feeling unhappy or unbalanced. So the gift of discernment says, what is going on in your life that's making you feel insecure, unloved, feeling low self worth, self love, and self esteem, or feeling lost or insecure, or thinking that you cannot accomplish things, or gloom and doom. And that's what we should begin to look at and understand this gift of understanding discernment and going on in his life, we need to use critical thinking, which I spoke before. But here's a fact checker for you. And the fact checker for you is, let's say there's something really important in your life and you're feeling one way and things aren't going well or whatever. There are several ways to handle this. One is to meditate and meditate and ask for an answer that you cannot misunderstand. And if you will do that and say, when the time is right, I'll get the answer, you'll get the answer. Actually, you get it right away, but sometimes the ego gets in the way. Sometimes you're unsure, and sometimes it's only what you want to hear. Isn't it true? You only want to hear certain things. You don't want to be criticized. You don't want to be put down. You don't want to be belittled or whatever. So here's the gift of discernment. And that is, if you hear that, does it really apply to you? Does it really resonate and feel true? Close your eyes and say, does that really feel right? And if your ego starts coming in, say, thank you, ego. I love you. I'll get back to you. I'm a little tied up. And ask the question again. That will create 98% less disasters and mistakes in your life. What about the 2%? Well, if you desire to resist things, whatever you resist and you block things, then what happens is this resistance that you have, you will create an insistence that it's got to be my way or the highway. So it's pretty cool to understand. And this is not a quote of mine, resistance equals insistence or insistence equals resistance, either way. Not a quote of mine, but I read that and I forgot the person who said that. But it's immaterial. What's material is, think about it. The more you say my way or the highway, the more you create a block because you're not open to what? Unlimited possibilities. So there's more than one way to do something, just like if you're making a bread, there's all kinds of ways you can create a bread. Or supposing you're grilling something, a hamburger, all kinds of ways to grill a hamburger. You can put blue cheese on it. You don't have to. You can add it with pork. You can add onions. You can add garlic. You can add a myriad of different things. And you can make a medium well done, medium rare, whatever you so desire. You make it flat, round, square. You can do all those things. Those are all the possibilities. And I'm picking on something that's really easy for you to understand, like grilling or making a hamburger, because there are unlimited possibilities to make it. Some people will say, nope, it's got to be fat. It's got to be 6 ounces. Got to have so much, like 85% beef, 15% fat. Some people want 95-10. Well, I got to tell you, God bless them. My opinion, 95-10, even 90-10, you don't cook it right, it's going to be tough and like shoe leather. Are you cutting back on the fat? Yes. You need to cut back on the fat? That depends upon who you are. But remember, your brain needs some fat to function. So, and you need some fat in your body as the seasons change to protect you against heat and cold and so on and so forth. So let your soul be your guide. You know what's really right for you and it isn't. You go to the doctor and he tells you to do this or that. And you know what? That could be correct for you. But you need to really understand what is best for you, not your ego, what's best for you. And that's so important. I had a client that they wanted to give him diabetic insulin. And so he and I talked about it. And I said, well, doctor said you have to go on it. Well, it's not a crisis, an emergency, but you have to go on it. And I said, you have a choice. If you go on it, you might be addicted to it for the rest of your life. If you stop eating all the sugar and start taking off weight, then see what happens. So the doctor came in and we discussed that. And he said, well, we can wait another 30 days to see what happens, not critical mass. And he did that. You know what happened? His sugar level went down. And then within 3 months, he was just about normal. So he didn't have to take the insulin. It just shows you that you're in control of your body. However, if your insulin is very high and you might go into shock, of course you need to get insulin. Of course you need to do that. But at the same time, you can control this by watching your eating and watching what you're doing and taking better care of yourself. And perhaps you'll get off it or perhaps you won't. It's really up to you. To you want to say something?
I do. You mentioned controlling our body. And I know that life can give us so many stressors that we internalize that stress. And how do we recognize that stress and also be able to adapt to what's going on around us without compromising our own health?
Well, that's part of the gift of discernment or understanding discernment and life's discernment. So you get aggravated with your spouse, get aggravated with children, or where you're working, or whatever you're doing. Right then and there, you have a choice. The only one you can control in your life is you, nobody else. You can talk until you're blue in the face, and some people will not listen. So remember, whenever you resist something, you become insistent. It's my way or the highway. So some people have to learn that way, the hard way. Some souls have to learn by listening or reading or checking up on everything. I have some people that, I make a suggestion and they'll research everything to the nth degree. Well, it says this. Well, check further. Well, then it says that. Then you become confused. What's right? Well, truly, what is right? It's what you feel comfortable with, what you feel correct with. So, for example, if you have high blood pressure, you can go on high blood pressure medication. Now, my blood pressure for the last 40 years has always been a little high. That's my normal. Even actually going back 50 years, that's my normal blood pressure. It's always a little high. It's not high for me, it's high according to the doctors. And it's like 10 or 15%, 10 or 15 numbers higher, but it's always been that way. Anything else, my heart is fine, everything's fine, my blood pressure is fine, everything's fine. So if we look at that, what is normal? Only each one of us are normal. And that's what you have to look at. So the gift of discernment, understanding life discernment is what makes me healthy and what makes me heal, what makes me positive, what makes me do this or that. And that's what you need to ask yourself. And ask for true inner source guidance or soul guidance. What is best for me to do? Ask for a sign, ask for knowledge. And many times I was doing a research on something that I know very little about. And I was running across all kinds of information. Some of it was controversial, some of it was positive, so on and so forth. But what happens? What happens is that you get a new lease on life by understanding, do I want to participate this way or do I want to try that way? It is so incredible. But discernment also involves the mind, the thoughts, your energy. So what you think you create, what you create, you experience. I mention that all the time, but it's so very important. I was reading an article where a person had terminal cancer, and then they got so involved worrying about their business, worrying about all kinds of things, trying to put, figuratively speaking, turn the business around, the fire out. They got so involved that when they went to check up on the cancer went away. Because whatever was causing the cancer, it was some kind of thought. Everything begins with a thought. And with that thought, it comes with some kind of pain or emotion attached to it. And that's how an illness starts. I don't care what it is. And if we look back at the COVID virus, many of my friends chose not to get the vaccine. Guess what happened? They never got never got the virus. They never got sick. A couple of them did, got over it quickly. They were in brain fog, no side effects. And their immune system was good for a couple of years, whatever the terminology is. The others just said they didn't have time for it. And they never got sick. And there's a woman sitting across from me right now, next to me, that she never came down with it. So how important is the gift of discernment in our life? It's how we think. It's how we believe. So here we are, all the political chaos, all these movie stars are for this person, that person, like, who cares? What do they know what's right for me? I know what's right for me. You know what's right for you. And nobody else knows what's right for you. You can receive suggestions. And if the suggestions make sense, yeah, maybe I'm getting a message from my soul through XYZ. And that gives me the opportunity to understand so many things. But you are at a precipice right now. And this precipice in life is that you have the choice and the chance to turn your life around. How do I just turn my life around? Well, think about it. Look at everything in your life that is creating chaos. And if you're create chaos in around about you, whether you're participating, feeling it, or doing it, you can change that instantaneous. So some of you are thinking, well, I'm in a job that I'm unhappy. And if I'm unhappy, that's creating chaos and pain, and I have no choice. I have to stay there. You have two choices. One, you can change your jobs. Two, you can turn around at that job and say, okay, it's a pain in the tush, but what are the good aspects of it? What can I achieve with this? What can I do with this? Well, I have a good salary. I'm supporting my family. However, I'm working with a bunch of ding dongs. Okay, so these ding dongs don't understand you or have a certain way. So you explain whatever you believe is the right thing. You get outvoted. You go, okay, and just do a meditation and say, if I am right, let it be self evident before any catastrophe or chaos starts. That's all you need to do. Call upon true source that if I'm right, let it be shown that I'm right. And they discover this without my ego tied to it and prevent any chaos. And that's it. It's out of your hands. Because once you ask the true source to do it, here, take it. You take care of it. It's out of my hands. I'm done. I'm finished. Take that attitude. That lifts the weight off you. And if it's proven you're wrong, you go, gosh darn it, I learned something new. Thank you. And if you're right, gosh darn it, thank you for pointing that out. Keep yourself humble. But there is a part of us that always wants to be right. Why? Because we are insecure. We need accolades to feel good. On the other hand, what you think you create, what you create, you experience. So therefore, if you're unhappy, who's creating the unhappiness? People around you? No, you're letting them create it. But they're not creating it intentionally for you. They're just in the same boat you are. So look at your life right now. Why am I talking about this as a spiritual person? And the reason I'm talking about this is because you need to awaken that you're creating your life by your thoughts, by your words. So is everybody else. Some are lying, some are manipulating, and some honestly believe something, even though it may turn out to be erroneous, but they believe that. So honor everybody who makes a decision, but ask yourself, is this right for me? Am I a follower or am I a leader? Am I a free thinker or am I a person that's very impressionable and I'm a sheep? So these are the things you have to ask yourself. And then respect everybody else's opinion. But now you need to begin to change your thinking. So your thinking, your belief system, is pretty much sealed by the age of 7 from family, friends, relatives, religions, whatever it is. But now it's time for you to awaken your soul, listening to the thoughts of your soul. Well, that's a new one. Has it ever happened? Yeah, it's happened. How often? How many years old are you? It's been with you all your life. Well, how do I listen to my soul? Asked in a quiet space, meditation. And the meditation I prefer is inhaling dream and exhaling heaven and doing it 108 times, called the breath of enlightenment. And you'll get a message, either when you're doing it or after you do it. And it's going to take a lot of impatience. Impatience, that's the word I use, because you're going to say, this is foolish, this is ridiculous, that's too much work, and blah, 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 blah. And that's the ego getting into your life and blocking you. But if I said to you, there's $50,000 in gold, but you got to dig a hole 30 feet deep. Boy, you would dig that and dig it. You don't care how tired you got, how much your back hurt. You would do it because there's a reward at the end. And sure enough, after 30, 35 feet deep, the rocks, everything you were getting through, maybe 50 feet deep, there's a steel box. You lift it up, and there's 50 gold coins or 100 gold coins. Yep, it was worth it. Well, think of when you were doing You're a dream heaven 108 times when you're meditating and looking for answers. That's worth more than gold because it changes your life, makes you happy. You cannot buy happiness, you create happiness. You cannot buy joy, you have to make joy, have joy. That's what's so important. To you, you wanted to say something?
Yes, I do. Thank you, Michael. What a beautiful example that you've just given. I think what happens a lot of the time is that, just speaking for myself, I have a I have always tried to be there to help everybody else and put myself at the bottom of the list and, look after myself after everybody else is okay. So it's very, very challenging to turn that around, but that's exactly what you're telling us to do, that we have to make a commitment to ourselves to move forward in order to be there to be that person for ourselves and then also help others. And my question to you is that when there's people out there that we see that we love as deeply as we do, when they're struggling with something and you can't, I know we can't change their thinking, but how far are we to go to plant the seeds and keep helping? And how do we know when we've sacrificed all we can possibly give? Is there like a sign somewhere that says that's it, we're done?
Yes. First of all, it's really interesting. It's interesting because you love a person so much. I'm not talking about a spousal love, but a love for humanity, a love for the person, or maybe it is spousal. And you see that they're screwing up and you want to change them and you make some suggestions. Well, you know that story, you can lead a horse to water rather, but you can't make them drink. So all you do is plant seeds and hopefully they'll get it. But it reaches a point which you feel maybe you need to mention it 20 times, 10 times, 5 times, whatever. Then you reach a point saying, I'm done. I can't force this person. I can't make them. I've given them love. I've given them advice. And now it's up to them. And if they create chaos in their life or their demise, what are you going to do? There's nothing you can do. It's like a motorcycle racer. And you say, you're getting older, you should slow down. No, I'm going to do it. I can do 200 miles an hour. I'm going to get all kinds of trophies. And they go out and they have an accident that causes their demise. Well, you're not responsible because you opened the door, you gave me your thoughts, you meant well, and that's it. And it's over and done with. It's finished. And that's all you can do. So there are many people listening to me that are going, yeah, maybe, sure, I'll do something about it one of these days. I'll do it tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes, I'll do it tomorrow. Tomorrow means it never happens. So you do it now. This minute, you begin to make the changes. But if we all understand that our emotions, our discernment, and how we think create our life, create our physical, mental, emotional life, our spiritual life. Think about our physical life, the pain we cause, how it causes chaos within our bodies. I know people that drink a lot in the evenings. You might call them an evening drunk or whatever, addiction. But then they come down with diabetes, they come down with all these things. Well, they drink a lot. Why? Well, maybe that's the way they're seeking solace or harmony or balance or how they can cope with life. You say, well, sweetheart, you keep drinking, you're going to have problems. Yeah, I'll stop. And they drink and drink. Well, it's not your responsibility that they came and became a diabetic or cause of their demise. It's each one of us has to take responsibility. So this is a point in life. This year is the year of, let's say, understanding karma and healing and releasing karma, 2024. The next year is 25, 26, all the way through 30. It's going to be a lot of earth changes, a lot of chaos, and a lot of differences. And it's nothing to be afraid of. To be warned is to be forewarned is to be forearmed. So what I'm telling you, now's the time to get your body in shape, your thoughts and emotions. And once you do that and begin to meditate, you'll begin to have answers. I know there was one person I was clearing negative energy on them. And they said, oh, can we do it this way? And I said, well, that's one of the ways. Would you like to try a new way? Yep. No, it doesn't work. Can only be done this way. Okay. Resistance, right? Insistence, resistance. So it's okay. He was able to clear himself. Now, I teach this way to hundreds, if not thousands of people. It works 99.9999999%. 1/1000th of a percent is that one person says, nope, my way or the highway. So you know what? I love you. Cool. Continue to do that. Then I go, are you annoyed at me? No. Let's just go, that's what you want to do. It's your choice. Who am I to say it's wrong for you? You feel comfortable with it. And that's all there is to it. So that's when you plant seeds. Now you're being asked to plant seed for you in your life. I keep checking our time to make sure how our time is. Everyone, I would like all of you to understand this. Use your gift of discernment, critical thinking, and see if it applies to you. Ask for a sign. Meditate, inhale, dream, and exhale heaven 108 times. Why 108? Because the numerology is 9. 9 equals completion or ending. These are the tools you have. They've been there all your life. And when you wrote your script for life, certainly wasn't to suffer and die in pain. You are creating it. Yes, you came here to learn lessons, but they are not lifelong lessons unless you want them to be. So I want to thank you all, and I'd like to talk about a few other things because there'll be a part two to this. First of all, I would like to share with you that every Tuesday evening, 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Pacific time, we have what we call Soul Awakening. That's where you ask questions. And it's on freeconferencecall.com, so you can come in your pajamas or whatever. Nobody will know. I won't even know. But you ask questions, and then I deliver a 10-minute message. The cost of this is to empower you and to learn something new. And to access this information to you, would you give them that telephone number?
Be happy to. The number is 202-926-1059, and the access code, Michael?
125-446-POUND.
I'll give that one more time. It's also in the comments in the chat. It's 202-926-1059, and the access code, Michael?
125-446-POUND. So I invite all of you to do so. Now, using the same telephone number, same code, the second Saturday of every month, which is from 9:55 a.m. Pacific time to 11:01 Pacific time. It's called Mass Consciousness Healing. And what you do, you call in, we chat for a few moments, find out where you're from. And through a beautiful, loving process we bring through into our bodies, True Source unconditional love circulates through your body, and nothing negative can live in the energy of love. So you're creating a love energy in your body, and then it comes out through your heart chakra. Heart means love, and not only does it expand within you, but all over this planet. And it brings love to the animal, mineral, and vegetable kingdom. Remember, we're part of the animal kingdom, so it affects us too. So why are we doing this? Because part of my mission and goal is change the energy on this planet to bring about unconditional love just from the True Source, which is what the True Source is, to make a difference. And we are the solution to change the chaos into a love, into a proverbial Garden of Eden, a place of love and joy and happiness and compassion. So to access that information, it's the same telephone number and the same code. Would you give it one more time?
That number is 202-926-1059, and the code, Michael?
125-446-POUND. So I enjoyed all of you. Now there's one other thing, and that is when I deliver that 10-minute message each Tuesday evening, there are 394 of 395. They're approximately 10 minutes long. A couple run over that, but that's about it. And it starts with number 3. There's a reason why I chose that. And goes up to 394 and 395. So you're stuck in traffic. You're mad at your spouse. You had a rough day at work. Or you're just lonely. You're just lost. Dial in. Listen to the 10-minute message. Well, the next question you have, well, How do I know it's the right message? Well, in the beginning, I forgot to list what each message was about. And then the true source said to me, well, that was intentional. And of course, I said, why? She said, Michael, you want to read through 394 labels? No. So let your soul decide. Thank you. And I can't tell you how many people call me or text me. Gee, I listened to number 214, just when I needed to hear. Perfect, Michael. So trust your soul. And you can play a whole bunch of them, or all 394 10-minute messages, whatever you so desire. To access that number, please give us the information.
Okay, that number is 434-300-4170. And the access code, Michael?
125446 and choose a number between 3 and 394. Would you do it one more time?
Absolutely. 434-300-4170. And the code, Michael?
Access code is 125446 pound. So I enjoying all of you to do so. You can watch the replays on Dr. Michael B. Gross YouTube, and please push the subscribe button, because the more viewers I get, the higher the rating I get, the more I can share this message of empowerment. So I'd appreciate you to pass the word and go to YouTube and listen to some of the beautiful messages that Tio and I give, but also there are some messages that are just audible, but behind it is a beautiful photograph, and it's taken by the award-winning photographer Tio Knapp. And you'll see a motivational message, and you'll hear me speaking for about 10 minutes. So please take advantage of this. And if it changes your life in 10 minutes, it's worth an amount of money you can't even come close to, because it changes your life and brings joy and happiness. That's so perfect. That's what we need. Love and joy and happiness. Also, we have a 501c3, which is the International Institute of Self-Empowerment. You've heard a lot about this. We're redoing our website. It's going a little slowly, but it's going, and I didn't realize that. And I checked with others who started nonprofits. They said, if you think you can do it in a year, lots of luck. It's going to take a couple of years to formulate everything and get it right, and then you'll be tweaking it. So if you're interested, TU has the information. And the International Institute of Self-Empowerment is just that. It's working with abused women, children, and men, helping them to become entrepreneurs and independent. And that is our goal. And we already have a host of souls lined up that are entrepreneurs who will be mentoring at no cost, giving their time and love to others to see that they're successful. In other words, they're giving back like we're giving back. So we're open to donations. And if you'll send us a donation, that'll be perfect. And then we will send you a letter with our thanks with our 501c3, so you can take it off on Uncle Sam when it comes in April or whenever you do your taxes. Therefore, I'd like to thank all of you for being here. And the last thing I want to cover is this is being brought to you by Healing the Holes in Your Soul, a wonderful book written by Tio Knapp. It's all about a woman who crawled in the dirt, and like the phoenix, came out as a beautiful bird. In that bird, she was resurrected to find love and joy and happiness in her life, and to be an inspiration for other women who are abused and taken advantage of. It's a wonderful story. It's empowering, and she's always available to help you. This is a must read. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. I have one question after, but I highly recommend that everybody start here with the Spiritual Primer by Dr. Michael Gross. He's actually the one that wrote the foreword in the book that he's holding. But this is a must read. This is priceless. The cost is nominal when you find and enjoy and receive the benefits that come from the wisdom that he shares in here. And I am thrilled and honored to be part of this, because if it wasn't for this book and the gentleman sitting right next to me on the screen, that book that he's holding would not even have been written. So thank you, Michael, for that. And I also wanted to ask you, Michael, really, really quick. what do you offer the people who would like to connect with you and you've never talked to them before?
Okay, so I want to talk to you a little bit about my book. And the book, as you've heard, Amazon sold out of them. I haven't shipped more for them to take care of for a couple of reasons. And one of the reasons being, of course, someone selling a used book for $500. So I said, wow, that's impressive. They can buy it from me for $29.95. But anyway, if you're so interested, you have information. I will give you a personal note in it. And the shipping and handling cost it's one price. The book is $29.95, and that includes shipping and handling with a little note. So if you're interested, in about a month, I'll be giving it to Amazon again to give them some for Christmas. But although I don't have overnight delivery, you'll get it within a week or 4 or 5 days, depending upon where you live. So I wanted to share that with you.
Okay,
Also,
Michael.
I offer a complimentary session,
There you go.
and a complimentary session give you a half an hour session. I'm not going to sell you anything, just here to help you. And if you'd like to learn more afterwards, fine. If that's all you desire, I love you. We're fine. But I would like you to all understand this is the time of the Great Awakening. So I thank you every one of you, more and more. Know that I love you and appreciate you because you are unlimited. I love you. Take care.
We love you.
Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you for your patience today.
Thank you.